What is all y'all up to? What is all y'all? What's all y'all doing? I'll be chilling. Of course, I'll be chilling. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta do in life, bro. Make it to the top, and do what you gotta do. Hell yeah, 100%, bro. I mean, depending, right? I mean, depending on the situation, like the scenario, and like I saw a thing where they're able to, a priest, he saved somebody in fucking like Pontiac, Michigan, or whatever it was, right? I'm like, damn, bro. Like a priest doing that, you know what I mean? Just go to show though. And he was honored from the community. I mean, he was really honored from the community. What do you think about it? Now, I did the same thing at Freshco back in August 2025, and Freshco happened to ban me, right, from entering the store. I stopped somebody from stealing, which in the Bible says being a good Samaritan is what gets you in heaven, right? That's exactly what I did. And because I did that, oh, well, I guess it's bad because the grocery store doesn't agree with what I did because their policies on their rules, right? So that means if somebody steals, you can't stop them, basically. You can't be somebody good in your community and do better for the world. It's sad, but it is what it is. We're used to it, right? That's where the world's at in today's world, so I mean, it's what it is, right? Yeah, my main goal is more the business aspect to Windsor. I'd say I'm more of a businessman than anything. You know what I mean? I've studied business and stock market exchange and things like that. So basically, that's how I'm gonna go with it. Well, the election's coming in October, and like I said, I'm more of a businessman. I've studied business and stock market exchange. That's what I did in high school, and that's what I'm gonna do when I'm mayor of Windsor. It's all about business and stock market exchange. That's how you make money for your city. That's how you build the economy. More business, more jobs, more people, more tourism. Things boom. You have to build your city up. When you look at Detroit and other places, they're going for a reason. All right, people are going there at high numbers right now. There's people that are going to Detroit from all over the world, and the reason why is because Detroit's gotten a lot better over time. But right now, Windsor, we're facing a lot of problems that are similar to what Detroit's going through. And the saddest thing is, Windsor, well, we're not a city that can deal with that kind of stuff, right? No, we're not. We're Windsor, out of all places. I mean, literally Detroit of Canada. That's what we're known as. I mean, that's what it is. You know what I mean? So basically, when you look at it like that, yeah, you could say it's similar to that. Oh, yeah, 100%, bro. But like I said, with the election coming up, it comes to the business aspect of what's going to happen. And when you think about it, the amount of jobs that I'm going to bring to Windsor, the amount of money that's going to come to this city is going to be absolutely amazing. This city is going to boom at record numbers. And then again, it's been 12 years since Drew Dokin's been in office. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy has not done one single thing in 12 years. That's not a good mayor. That's a failure. That's someone who can't do his job. And there's a reason why he's going to lose really bad in the election. Because he lied. He's fraud. He takes taxpayer dollars and puts in his pockets. And besides all that, he said absolutely nothing about Nancy Graywall. Absolutely nothing. But I promise to honor Nancy Graywall's legacy and build her a statue on the River. This guy says absolutely nothing. Not even a single rest in peace, all your condolences to your family. Nothing. Very, very strange if you ask me. That's why I would say it. Very strange. 100%. Well, last time I streamed was like about a month ago on YouTube, right? I mean, I've been streaming on TikTok a little more recently because a lot of people enjoy me on TikTok, right? Yeah, I got a pretty decent following on there. I mean, my TikTok's huge for a reason. I don't want to put it like that. I'm not trying to, flex my TikTok or anything. But the reason why my TikTok is so massive is because I'm not just someone that does the average content on there, that just does dancing. No, what I post on there is random stuff besides me speaking out against things going on in the world. And I'm not biased. I'm not just one side of this or one side of that. I speak the truth because real men speak the truth. And that's what we need in this world. More truth speakers and more people that are about Jesus and God. Because when there's evil, there's got to be good. You know what I'm saying? And you got to fight against the evil. That's the only way life will get better. Real men create strong times. Weak men create bad times. And that is a quote everybody should know in life. When you look at society and how bad things have gotten, it's because people are weak. It's because people are allowing other people to walk all over them. Back then, we didn't allow that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Back then, things were a lot better. I'm talking about the old times, man, the 50s. When in the 1950s, you could literally leave your door unlocked. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. They used to have a joke in the 1950s where you could leave your door unlocked. No matter if you went to sleep, you're out places. And the reason why is because there's no home invasions that happened. Look up the record of home invasions in the 1950s. There was none. And you know why? Because everybody lived good then. People had opportunity in the 50s. A lot of people were enjoying life. The 1950s will always be the best generation. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, think about that for a minute. There was literally no home invasions in the 1950s. Think about it. How many home invasions have we seen in today's world? Especially in Canada. A lot. A lot. That's the reason why I say we need the Second Amendment. I mean, that's a major reason why we need the Second Amendment. Yeah, guns save lives. My favorite type of gun is probably, I'd say the shotgun. Right? I like the shotgun and I also love grenade launchers. Those are like my two favorite. Sniper rifles are also iconic. This shirt looks good on me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, this shirt's definitely iconic. People are saying this. I went to like Las Vegas or something. Well, even though I'm from Windsor, things like that. Like I said, they're basically Detroit, Canada, automotive city, motor city. So similar. You know what I mean? Well, when we talk about aspects of business and things like that, let's not forget the drug crisis that's going on over here in Windsor. And Dilkins literally flooded the city with drug addicts. If we don't remember this, right, back in 2020, 2021, there, he took drug addicts from other cities in Canada, right, over in Ontario, and he flooded them in Windsor. Yeah, he flooded them in Windsor. Pour all the drug addicts here. You wonder why there's so much crime, so much drug use happening. And I mean, I've recorded it. I've recorded it everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter what end of the city you're in. It could be the east or the west. You're going to see drug and crime all over the place, which is absolutely sad. Because a long time ago, when you look at Windsor, when Eddie Francis was mayor, it wasn't this bad, right? That's why when I say look at Drew Dawkins, Windsor's current mayor, and look at Detroit's former mayor, Mike Duggan, and compare those two mayors and look at the difference they did in the exact amount of time. For some reason, Mike Duggan really cleaned Detroit up, and for some reason, Drew Dawkins failed Windsor miserably because he's a mayor that can't do his job. Just put it plain and simple, he just can't do his job. He's failed so bad, exactly. He should write failure on the top of that bald head because that's exactly what he is. It's sad to say it, but you know what? Windsor needs better. All right, Windsor is suffering, and I don't want to put it like that because I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, you should talk about Windsor. You should do this for." Windsor is a city that needs a lot better in it. And again, the leadership in this city, the leadership in this country, is horrible. All our politicians are weak. They're all the same. What we need is stronger leadership, real leadership, and that's what America will bring to Canada. A stronger dollar, a stronger and safer society, more opportunity, a better future. So many things to offer. Yes, Canada is facing a lot of problems. I mean, the government. I mean, they literally have the government coming after you, right? If the government doesn't agree with what you're saying, they literally have police come and get you for it. I mean, that's literally happening right now as we speak. So, yeah, that's how it is. That's why when I'm mayor, I'm not saying I could change every aspect of the entire country, but when I'm a mayor, I can at least call out other politicians, right? That's one thing I can do when I'm mayor is call out all the other politicians for all the mistakes they're doing and all the bad things that they have caused. Because when you lie to your people for far too long and keep doing it, you know what? There's nothing good about an average politician, man. And I'm not even gonna put it like this, but a lot of them, especially on the left, all right, they're evil and they're corrupt, and we can't allow this kind of stuff to go on anymore. When it comes to crime and chaos and drugs in the communities, we shouldn't have to deal with that kind of stuff because it really kills people. We see deaths rising at higher numbers. We see a bad community where no tourists want to come to, and that should set an example. Just for the besides the city, a whole country. I mean, you lost so many people coming here to spend money because you want to have display of drugs, which then again, a lot of people don't even want to live in, right? I remember back then when when I first started smoking marijuana. I was 13 years old, right? Half my age, 26 right now, 26 and a half, but 27 December 17th. But ladies and gentlemen, when I was smoking marijuana back then, originally marijuana was not legalized, all right? And anybody can speak from experience. Back then, people used to have to go in an alleyway or like hide in the spot to smoke weed, right? Now you got motherfuckers smoking out of fucking meth and crack pipes right out in the fucking open. Just think about that. Back then, you had to hide marijuana, right? Marijuana, all right, a fucking plant. I mean, that's just what it is. I wouldn't say it like that, but when you think about countries and you think about culture, Canada is definitely losing. I mean, we're basically being sold off to the whole New World Order and World Economic Forums and the EU, the European Union, and all that. Yeah, yeah, we're being sold off because Mark Carney is a banker. Mark Carney is a dictator. Mark Carney is a communist. I mean, Canada's in a recession right now. 100% is fucked up. Uh, Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll set it up when I'm ready. But like I said, for the problems going on, yeah, I can have people that are coming after me. I've had a lot of people that have threatened me, saying they're gonna fucking shoot me, they're gonna fucking stab me, blow my house up. I mean, I've heard all of the fucking things. All right, I'm not worried. I'm still here doing what I'm doing. I got 1,000 people listening to me on TikTok, fucking dropping everything, bro. I'm not worried about some fucking motherfucker that's gonna threaten me, bro. I've had people threaten me. Well, I've had someone try to assassinate me back in April. I got 1,000 people listening to me on TikTok. I got 100 people dropping comments. You think I'm worried about somebody threatening me? You got to be kidding me. I'm much more above someone like that in life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Lexi. That's what Lexi can get. That's what Lexi can get. Lexi, the bitch that I roasted, the fucking criminal, the one who's causing mayhem in my fucking streets. When I literally promised to clean this city the fuck up, someone like that is causing problems in my city. Nah, I ain't gonna tolerate it. things are going to be dealt with. And you know what? My city's going to become a lot better. Canada needs a lot better. This is why I say Canada and America need to work together, because Canada is suffering at significant rates that people are not talking about. When it comes to home invasions, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to crisis, corruption, and fraud, I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. We saw what was happening in Minneapolis, right? When Nick Shirley exposed what was going on with the Somalians and all that. Pay attention to what's going on here, all right? Your taxpayer dollars are being used against you, which is completely fucked up to be saying. But it's the truth of reality. The citizens are being fucked. When the government fucks you over, I mean, they silence what you say. They take away your right to protect your life. They make sure you make less money. They make sure food costs more. They make sure life is a lot harder. They make sure it's impossible to leave the country. And I mean, to leave Canada, you have to pay almost $500,000, which they're trying to pass right now over in Parliament. That is absolutely ridiculous. All right, to pay $500,000 to leave Canada. I thought people would say, "Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave?" Quebec tried to leave 10 years ago, right? Remember how Quebec tried to get the referendum 10 years ago, and nobody ever criticized Quebec, right? But everybody disses Alberta and says, "Oh, you like Alberta? You're a traitor," and stuff like that, right? Yeah, but Quebec tried to get a referendum 10 years ago, and nobody called Quebec traitors. People actually loved Quebec and praised them for it, right? It just shows what wokeness does to people. People are so mind controlled from what the government tells them. There's so many sheep out there that just listen to what the mainstream media tell them, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm gonna go with it. Oh, well, the news said so. Guess that must be it. Let's do it. Let's do our own research and see what's really going on. No, let's just see what the government tells us, and let's just go with it." Stupid. No mindset. No thought to your brain. People are literally losing their ability to see what's really going on. Okay, they just sit there and watch the news and get a fucking spoonful of propaganda, communist propaganda at that. That's literally used to just manipulate people. That's all the news media is. It's just used to control the public and manipulate them into thinking what's wrong was right. All right, and that's exactly what's going on. They literally go and target innocent people. They are beating on innocent citizens. That is exactly what Antifa has been doing, right? You look at Antifa, they're a fucking terrorist group, domestic terrorists. They're operating in America and Canada, same thing as Palestine, right? A domestic terrorist group, bro. They have literally created so many fucking things that are so fucking stupid, right? Oh, well, we create the fucking mask to protect our face because we don't want to get sprayed. Why the fuck are you out here talking about we should have a war when you motherfuckers don't want to go back to where the fuck y'all came from for your fucking war? Palestine, Israel bullshit, we'll take care of that. You shouldn't be in the streets of Canada or America fucking chanting death. That's fucking ridiculous. These people need to get it. And that's why I say ICE police, they gotta take care of them. You know what I'm saying? Get these motherfuckers. Now, people in Canada, we're suffering. There's a lot of gang crime. There's a lot of gang violence. And again, there's so much corruption and fraud going on right now. It's absolutely insane to see where Canada's at. Canada is a nation that is suffering really bad. Our dollar is worth 71 cents American. Ladies and gentlemen, when Stephen Harper was Prime Minister of Canada, our dollar was worth 98 cents. When Stephen Harper was leader, our dollar is worth 71 cents of Mark Carney. Does somebody want to explain that to me? Canada is collapsing. We are losing jobs to China. We have the highest inflation out of the G7. It costs the most money to buy a house in Canada. To have your own vehicle, let alone just one or two, right? Costs the most for insurance in Canada. The cost for living costs the most in Canada. People in Canada can't live. In Toronto, you got to work 3 jobs. If you're living in like poverty or minimum wage, you literally got to work 3 jobs in Toronto to live in a 1-bedroom apartment, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. You know, there's a house in Vancouver. A lot of houses in Vancouver cost like $4 million, $2 million, things like that, right? You look at houses in Texas that are between $300,000 and $600,000. They look a million times better. They got a bigger garage. They got a bigger living room. They got bigger bedrooms. They got a much cleaner looking bathroom. They got a fucking in-ground pool. And yet over in Vancouver, it's fucking a trash dump that they're making you pay fucking $4 million for. Give me a break. That is absolutely insane. People in Canada are being fucking ripped off from our own government. They literally take our taxpayer dollars to use it against us. They took away our gun rights to protect our lives. They literally allow criminals to get out of jail within 24 hours. A slap on the wrist. And none of these criminals face justice. And they get out and do the exact same crime again. Look what happens with home invasions. Home invasions are out of control right now in Canada. We have a major crime crisis with 12-year-olds carjackings. Right? There's only 12-year-olds doing carjackings out here in Toronto. One earlier got arrested and he fucking ran over a police officer. I mean, how is this Canada? Is someone going to explain to me how in the flying fuck this is Canada? When did we ever have crime at this rate? I mean, I'm not saying Canada never had crime, right? But a long time ago, Canada did not have crime as it has right now. And anybody can say the exact same thing. Canada has got a serious problem with itself. And you know what it is? It's corruption, it's fraud, it's drugs, it's chaos, and it's crime. And once those issues are all dealt with, Canada will be a much better country. But for what it's going through right now, there's a reason why I say we need America. Because when it comes to freedom of speech, the government is arresting people. They're literally getting the police to knock on people's doors in Canada. And guess what? If the government disagrees with what you say, well, you're going to be one that gets arrested for it. Right? I mean, that is 100% dictatorship. That is 100% corruption. That's 100% communism. That's literally dictatorship. You are literally arresting people for speaking out. Right? I mean, just think about this for a second. That's your freedom of speech. And then your Second Amendment is to protect your life. So if they come after you for what you're saying, you have a gun to protect your life with that, right? They got rid of this in Canada because they don't want people speaking out against the government. The government wants to control you. And that's what they're going to do in 2030. They're going to make all these smart cities, right? 15-minute cities. And they're going to control the public. They're going to put public in these little spots here. And you're going to live in a community living spot. That's about 15 minutes from all shops in the area. And it's going to be like a little square hub area. And that's what people are going to live in. And that's what the world's going to come to at some point. In 2030, there's going to be robots all over the place. I mean, we already have robots popping up in certain cities, but it's not too long from when they actually show up in a lot of numbers. So keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, those times are coming. Those times are coming. And when they do come here, just remember one thing. I said this right here on video. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you go and look at countries like China and Japan, they're already displaying robots. All right, they're already showing. Even in Moscow, Russia, they're already showing it. Canada, America, they'll be here soon. All right, and when they're here, they're gonna take over all our jobs, and humanity is gonna be a fucking slave system. All right, which basically it already is. Right, you're already a slave to the system. You work a 9 to 5. You're just doing what You're basically working for somebody else to make more money. Right, whoever's the CEO of that company is making all the money, and whoever works for them gets paid in peanuts. I mean, that's what it is. I'm gonna have to move this stream over, so give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all. That jukebox back there, y'all see that? Get back there, bro. That jukebox. Congo Stigler. Go back from such a long time ago. Talking about the 1950s, like the best generation ever. Now, give me 1 second. Now, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Canada is suffering at significant rates that people have not seen before. And the only way things are ever going to get better in Canada is with America. All right, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't say that," or "Oh, maybe you should think about better leadership." We're going to have to wait 3.5 years for another election, ladies and gentlemen. So at this point, it's like, look, we have fucking two options. Okay, either we're going to join America, or we're going to be fucking slaves to China. All right, and I'd much rather, and I mean much rather, be part of America than China if it comes to that. China is dictatorship, communism, and they're evil. They're corrupt. If you speak out in China, I mean, they'll do a lot worse to you than just arrest you. They'll literally kill you in China. So, I mean, yeah, China is a very corrupt spot. Beautiful and corrupt at the same time, yes. If that's one way to describe them. No. I mean, I stream sometimes on like TikTok and things like that because I'm trying to connect with my fan base on there besides YouTube and stuff. But I still stream on YouTube here and there. Give me 1 second, all right? and a bottle of fucking water. Yeah, I'm trying to set it up perfect for y'all. I think that's like a perfect view right there. What have I been up to? I've been doing a lot in my life. I mean, I've really been doing a lot, and I haven't been taking a break. And I think that's like one of the main problems, though, is like I don't take breaks, right? I just consistently work and do what I got to do. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? You want to work as hard as you possibly can. If you really want to make it in life, then you got to do what you got to do and keep doing it, right? And that's the reason why I'm running for mayor in October, because I know if you want to make the difference, then you got to be the difference, and it's that simple. Once you get that and you understand that, then you know it. 100%. There's a reason why Canada and America gotta work together. And like I said, when it comes to crime and corruption, chaos, fraud, drugs, home invasions, all these problems that we're facing right now, we need America to deal with these issues because America will solve these problems. And the reason why is because they have the solutions to solve the problems. And again, in Canada, you can't speak out against the government like that. You know what I mean? People think like, oh, I'm just going to speak out and say that. No, you can't. All right, the government will come and arrest you. And again, I've already seen this happening to a lot of people over in Canada, right? And the funniest thing is people call fucking Quebec, you know, Alberta's called this and that, and Quebec nothing, right? Right? And everybody always dissed Alberta. I get it all the time, bro. Oh, man, you back Alberta? It's ridiculous, right? I mean, free Alberta. Alberta should have their independence, right? I don't get why when Quebec wanted to leave, nobody ever slandered Quebec, right? I just don't get people like that. No, Quebec's a good spot. Don't get me wrong, Quebec. You know, they're trying to accuse the police of being racist, right? And I'm so sick and tired of playing this little game with these woke ass people. Yeah, wokeness ruins society. 100%, I would say that. Wokeness is what destroyed society. Society is gone because of fucking woke garbage. All right, all this woke nonsense is what destroyed the world. Yes. What? It looks like I'm in a penthouse. I mean, maybe it is a penthouse, right? I got a Las Vegas shirt on, so yeah, some of my Las Vegas style. You know what I mean? Y'all can see that. Some of my Las Vegas right there, dog. Straight up, motherfucking Sin City, bro. What up? Do it up like this, you know? That peace sign between the eye with the Z after for the eyes. Get that? That's a rhyme right there. See, if y'all didn't know how to rhyme, y'all couldn't even get it that time, right? You know, the funniest thing is, this December, I'm going to drop another album. So when I'm elected mayor of Windsor, I'll make a whole album based off being the mayor of Windsor. That's going to be an iconic album. Yes, I'm going to produce it. Every other album I've produced. You know, I've dropped so many albums. You know what I mean? And it's similar to what Donald Trump did because, you know, before Donald Trump was a politician, he was a musician. Donald Trump was Elvis Presley before he became a politician. So, same thing what I'm doing with my music, right? I mean, I was a musician before I became a politician. The reason why I became a politician is because I see what's going on in my community, in my city, in my entire country. And once again, if someone's going to make a difference, then they have to do that difference, right? And when you look at Nancy Graywall's situation, I mean, not only am I going to honor her incredible legacy, that statue will have a resemblance. So, say in 100 years from now, when people are, you know, in Windsor and stuff like that, and they're on the Detroit River, they're going to see that Nancy Graywall statue, and when they go there, they're going to read all about her, and they're going to read what happened. And that statue is going to be there to continue her incredible legacy. Because not only was she very intelligent and very beautiful, she was also very brave. And she fought for the truth. And the fact that she was killed in cold blood is the reason why that I'm going to honor her legacy. I think the best time was when I called out Drew Dawkins for not saying nothing about Nancy Graywell, and I mean, I blew up on social media for doing that. If y'all look it up on each social media platform, especially TikTok, I got about 21,000 views on that video. It's got about 700 likes. Yeah, it was massive. Oh, for what happened to Nancy Graywell, that shouldn't be Windsor. All right, you can expect that. I mean, how can that even happen to somebody for speaking out? It's sickening. Again, I feel really bad for her because when a situation like this happens, something has to be done. And not only is that killer gonna get life, whoever it was, I promise to honor her incredible legacy. Well, that's what a real leader does, right? A real leader gives condolences when something happens. And that's exactly what I did. I reached out to Nancy Graywell's family. I gave condolences to her. I made a rest in peace video on TikTok that has 21,000 views and 700 likes, but 100 comments on there. And Drew Dawkins didn't say a single word. This happened on March 3rd, 2026, right? And Dawkins did not say a single thing. What does that say, ladies and gentlemen? Drew Dawkins, the mayor of Windsor, has not said nothing for over 3 months. When this issue blew up all over Windsor, Nancy Graywell was speaking out against the Khalistani movement that's happening in Canada. She was speaking the truth. She was murdered in cold blood. Murdered in cold blood. And rest in peace to Nancy Graywell, because she was very intelligent, very brave, and very beautiful. And she fought for the truth. And like I said, when I promise to honor her legacy, it's going to show a sign of respect when it comes to Windsor. Because when you do things like this in my city, you ain't going to be welcome back here. Anybody that wants to do harm to this city is going to face severe consequences when I am mayor. Unlike the current mayor, Drew Dawkins, who does not care to do nothing to combat crime or try to get rid of criminals in our community. No, what I'm going to do is say if somebody commits a crime that's so horrific and they face more than 20 years, they will not be welcome back in our community. They'll be banned from the city. And people say, oh, well, how are you going to do something like that? Go look at the medieval times. They did this in medieval times in the old cities. This is exactly what I'm going to do. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because we're not going to allow the same people to walk in our streets and commit the exact same crimes they already committed and got away with. It's time to get rid of people like this. You're going to come to my city. You're going to show respect to it. You're going to honor this beautiful city. You're not going to come here and disrespect it and litter and assault our people and steal from us. You're going to do stuff like that. You're going to face time, and then you'll get deported after. Because I'm not going to deal with people coming to my city and trashing it. We have far too much gang violence to worry about, prostitution, drug use, corruption and fraud, crime at record high numbers, and it's absolutely sickening to see where Windsor's at. Windsor was never like this before, ladies and gentlemen. We are literally worse off than Detroit right now. It is absolutely insane to even say this, but Windsor is literally worse than Detroit. And that's just a fact. Look it up. Windsor is dealing with worse problems. When I say this, it's because Windsor never faced home invasion crisis and drug crisis and shootings like this. We literally have police shootings every weekend because we have criminals that are targeting police officers with fucking knives. Okay? Windsor is going through a lot of fucking problems. There's shootings going on alleyways in the middle of the night, fucking drug deals gone wrong going on, $500,000 worth of cocaine being found. Windsor, what the fuck is going on? How is there this much stuff happening in this beautiful city? When 10, 20 years ago, was this kind of stuff happening? No, it was not. The reason why is because we had a better mayor. Eddie Francis was a mayor that really cared for this city. Drew Dawkins is the absolute opposite of what Eddie Francis was. And that is why I'm fighting to become mayor of Windsor in October. Because someone has to defeat Drew Dawkins and clean this mess up and drain the swamp. Someone has to get rid of the prostitution, the crime, the drugs, and bring the glory days back to the Rose City. Build this city's economy. Use your jobs to bring in more dollars. Use your resources to make trade deals. Build the city up like nobody's seen before. That's what you're supposed to do when it comes to being a politician, being a local leader, being a mayor, being a leader of a country, whatever you're doing. You are supposed to build that economy. You're supposed to help the residents of each city, each community. wherever it's at. You're supposed to bring respect to everybody. And when you have leaders that do not care to do what they're supposed to do, that creates failure. You see why Windsor's in a decline? It's because the mayor doesn't know what he's doing. It's because Windsor has suffered for far too long without gaining ahead. We're not growing in jobs. We're not growing in resources. We're not growing in money. We're sitting here on our asses doing nothing while Detroit gets better and better and better and better. Why are we doing nothing in Windsor? Why? Detroit keeps building up skyscrapers like nobody's seen before, but yet Windsor is not doing nothing. Windsor is not building anything. I don't get how Detroit keeps building up skyscrapers, but Windsor doesn't do any of that. It makes no sense. Windsor does not want to advance its city. For some odd reason, Windsor wants to suffer. And the reason why is because the mayor takes taxpayer dollars, puts it in his pockets, and walks away in the sunset after. Because Drew Dawkins is nothing more than a bald-headed bandit, a lying, corrupt son of a bitch who's going to lose in a landslide. Because he lied so much to people, he's being called out for it all over social media. No matter whatever fucking app it is, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You look up hashtag Drew Dawkins, each hashtag about him is all negative. It's all roasting him. Do you know why? Because people in Windsor are sick and tired of Drew Dawkins. People in Windsor want better leadership. And that's exactly what my promise is. When I say Windsor will become the next New York, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to build this city up like nobody's seen before. And I'm glad y'all support me because you know what? The future of this city is brighter than ever. Dawkins is going to get owned so bad. He lied so miserably. He can't do his job. He's failed so bad. And there's a reason why he's going to lose really bad. Yes, people can't have the dream they want in Windsor. People can't even have opportunity or hope because there's nothing to Windsor. I mean, we have nothing to show for the rest of the world. When you create thousands of jobs building skyscrapers, I mean, that amount of dollars that comes to the economy, you know how much more you can do to your city? You could really improve a lot more things in your city with that kind of money. And then guess what happens when you improve your city? You have more tourism, right? More people from around the world come to Windsor, and then they want to spend money. Then that money goes in our economy. Use your resources to make trade deals. Guess what? That's more to the economy. This is how you build your city. This is how you build a country. But these politicians here are all fake, are all corrupt, and they all lie. Each one of them. The politicians in Canada, they get away with doing so much. It's the same thing with the United Kingdom, right? A good 90% of them, yes. I mean, that's how it is. But that's why I said I'm more of a businessman and not a politician. Because I've studied business and stock market exchange. I mean, I was also in a history class too, but which I learned about politics and other things like that in that class. But business and stock market exchange, I'm glad I took it. You know why? Because that's what I'm going to use for my goal running for mayor of Windsor. I talk about making us the next New York. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I know you always say I'm handsome. I'll be the handsomest mayor ever, 100%. Oh my god. Yeah, I was dealing with something recently with y'all know her name, Alexis, Lexi, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. She can watch it all. She go ahead. She can watch it all she wants. I'm not worried. But I'm gonna comment about what she did. Someone asked me, a question. I'm gonna respond. When you go and do what you've done, and try to diss me, bash me, none less, and slander who I am, call me multiple things, get mad at me because I can't take you somewhere, and then go and beg for me later on in life. I mean, give me a break. It's funny thing is, I moved on. Like that's the most funniest thing about this entire situation, though, right? Is I moved on from her. We had something a long time ago. I moved on. I didn't go back to her. I didn't write her back. I didn't go and see what she's doing. No. For some fucking reason, this woman is literally stalking whatever I'm doing. And how do I know? Because when I go on every social media app, I can check who viewed my stuff. And I'm seeing her viewing my stuff every hour and fucking 20 minutes, bruh. Which means she's literally stalking what the fuck I am doing. And that is creepy. All right? That's fucking creepy. Like, that's a stalker, bro. I mean, that's literally a stalker. Yeah, my ex girlfriend Lexi's a stalker, and it's creeping. It's creeping me. All right. I mean, literally, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm going on a social media app, I don't need to be alerted that somebody viewed my profile 30 fucking times in one day. All right. I don't even know that. Because people think I'm controversial. All right, people think I'm controversial. They're like, "Oh my god, Tristan's so controversial. Man, look at the way he criticizes things or makes fun of certain minorities and groups. Oh my god, he's so controversial." My god, I've gone it so many times. All right, and if y'all think I'm controversial, oh my god, you ain't even ready. You ain't even ready to see how controversial I'm gonna be when I'm mayor of Windsor. All right, if y'all think I'm controversial for the stuff that I speak on or the way I speak on it, then you're not even ready to know how controversial I'll get when I'm mayor. And that's the most controversial mayor ever, and the most handsome mayor at that. The mayor that's always the strip club, the titty bar. Right? Now we now realize something. Canada is going through the same thing as what Nazi Germany did to their citizens in the 1940s. That's exactly what our government's doing to the Canadian citizens. It is fucked up. It really is. But you know what? We're suffering at significant rates. Let's pray to God we get better. I mean, like, let's pray to God. You know what I'm saying? If things don't get better, then you don't want it to get worse, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen. When things get worse, I mean, if you see what's going on in all the United Kingdom, but shout out to Tommy Robinson. Shout out to Tommy Robinson. Unite the kingdom. Unite the kingdom. Keep doing it, bro. I support you. And a lot of us over here support you. You're standing up for your people, you're standing up for your culture, you're standing up for your country, and you're fighting back against the invasion. You're fighting back against cancer. And you know what? We all appreciate it all over the world. Keep fighting, Tommy Robinson. Unite the kingdom. Unite the kingdom. Unite the kingdom. Unite the kingdom. Tommy Robinson, you are the best at what you do. And I really hope one day I could meet you. Because for what you're doing for England and also fighting for Ireland, Scotland, the Welsh, people all over the world want someone like that. You know why? Because your country is suffering, like how Canada's suffering. We need people that are going to fight back, right? Besides stronger leadership, you got to have more patriotic people that are going to fight and stand up. Because Canada is suffering really bad. Again, when it comes to inflation, Canada's highest inflation in the G7. So either things are going to get better or things are going to get a lot worse. My mustache looks perfect. Yes, it does. To be quite honest, when it comes to this problem, the only way things will get better is a better leadership. That's the only way things will ever get better. Better leadership, stronger patriotism, and the fight for humanity. Because when you have an invasion of not only another culture, but people that are violent and that are assaulting you because they're different, that's a problem. That is a problem. And that's happening all over the world. But that's why I said unite the kingdom. Because Tommy Robinson, he's fighting. He's fighting for United Kingdom. And that is what we need. And when it comes to places like Canada and America, we need people that are going to fight back against all this stuff. Because invasions, they're going to cause more problems. There's citizens that are being jumped over in the United Kingdom, right? Innocent girls being raped. Do you know why? Because when the migrants come there, they think they can do whatever they want, like in their own country. They don't realize when you go to somewhere else, the laws and the way of life are a lot different, right? When you go to a first world country, yes, you have freedom, but the freedom has limits, which means you can't just go and do whatever the fuck you want, right? Which basically means you can't go and sexually harass 100 women at once and just grope all of them and be like, oh, no, I'm good, free country. Yeah, free country means you can live a life that you dream of. So say you want to do this and you think that you'll be good at it. Guess what? You can do that. That's your freedom of your country, right? That's your opportunity. You can't, doesn't mean you can just go and break the laws of the country, right? Because you have to have law and order. If you don't have law and order, society will be like Gotham City, where it's just endless crime and people just stealing from everybody and shooting and killing and stabbing and robbing, whatever. That'll be society if there's no law and order. You have to have law and order. You have, no matter what time it is in the world, you have to have law and order. Because again, when people come here, and people that are already here, doesn't matter if they're already here or they come here. When you're literally going and doing bad acts to other people, then yeah, you should get time for it. And better yet, if it's so severe, you shouldn't be allowed back in the city after, let alone the country, right? I mean, if you're a foreigner and you do something bad, then you're not welcome back in the country. If you're a citizen, you do something bad in that city, well, guess what? You're getting sent somewhere else because you shouldn't be welcome back in the city that you committed the crime in. If you're gonna do things like that, then you ain't welcome back. That's what it is. You want to be in a nice city, you show respect to that city. Better yet, you don't go and litter. You don't throw your garbage somewhere and be like, oh, sorry. That destroys the city. The same thing as open drug use. Like I said with the open drug use policy, there's a reason why tourism doesn't come to Windsor or the rest of Canada. And it's because of this whole open drug use thing, right? I mean, it's destroyed us. It's literally destroyed us. A lot of major cities are dealing with this, especially places like Vancouver, Hamilton, Windsor, Toronto, Montreal, even in Calgary, right? Even in Calgary, there's some stuff going on with drug use. I mean, it's sad. It really is. But this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening, all right? This kind of stuff should not even be happening. It's only happening because we have a weak government, we have weak leadership, and they allowed this to happen for far too long. Because people don't want to live in a drugged out environment anymore. You know, when you have so much prostitution and drugs and crime going on, your cities collapse, your communities collapse. No tourism comes. I mean, there's less money. Canada's debt is getting higher and higher. We have the highest inflation in the G7. There's really nothing left to Canada at this point. And the reason why is because of weak leadership. Justin Trudeau and Cannibal Carney absolutely destroyed Canada. 100%. All the stuff they've done, they've absolutely destroyed this beautiful country. Well, again, when Stephen Harper was prime minister, our dollar was worth 98 cents. Like, ladies and gentlemen, our dollar was at the highest when Stephen Harper was prime minister. Just put that in consideration, all right? Canada was a million times better off when Stephen Harper was prime minister. Stephen Harper was the best leader Canada ever had. I'll say it right here. Stephen Harper was the best leader we ever had in Canada. And you look at Cannibal Carney, our current leader, bro, pure evil. When I look at him, I can see evil. Right in his face, you can see it. You know, Carney is a type of guy that cannot be trusted, right? If untrustworthy was a person, that'd be Mark Carney, all right? He'd be the untrustworthy. You can see in his face that you don't trust someone like that. Shout out to Alberta. Shout out to Alberta. Yeah, Alberta referendum. But like I said, when Quebec won a referendum, nobody cared, right? Nobody criticized Quebec for it. Nobody called Quebec traitors, but some reason Alberta gets called traitors, right? Why didn't nobody call Quebec traitors? Someone tell me that in the comments. I'd love for someone to tell me that in the comments, though. Why didn't Quebec get called traitors when they won a referendum? Why did Alberta always get it? What? Why does Alberta always get it? I just want to know. I'll ask anybody this. Why does Quebec never get criticized for that? No, because that's how people work, right? That's how the woke left works. And again, we're having the same problem in Canada, right? America's having the right versus left. It's the same thing with Canada. All right, when it comes to America, it's Republicans versus Democrats. When it comes to Canada, it's conservative versus liberal. All right, it's literally like the exact same thing, though, right? It's the same, basically conservatives right, liberals left, Republicans right, Democrats left, right? And we have the same problems going on in Canada as the States, where we're having like the back and forth, and they want this, we want that, and when the right is in control of society's a lot better. I don't know if y'all noticed this, all right? But when the right's in power, it seems like your country's a lot better, no matter what side it's on. If it's Republican or conservative, the country's a lot better than a bunch of liberals, all right? When liberals take over, your country's destroyed, your community's destroyed. You get a bunch of things where it's, oh, we need more diversity and inclusion. We're going to hire people that don't know how to do the job because we want to look at their skin color and say they deserve to work because we look at color. Why y'all looking at color? I thought Martin Luther King said we shouldn't look at people as color, right? Isn't that exactly what Martin Luther King said? We shouldn't look at people as color. We should look at people who are real or not. That's exactly what he said. But y'all like to go and reverse that kind of stuff, right? Why? Because Martin Luther King was a Republican conservative. The same thing as Malcolm X. Republican conservative. Every motherfucker that fought throughout history was someone who preached the truth. And that's the reason why they get assassinated, no matter what country it's in. It's because when you speak the truth and you wake people up, the people that run the world, they don't like that. So they'll do whatever they can to try to get you killed. Now, this assassination attempt that I survived, I'm not saying that assassination attempt was from the elites. I'm not saying that. But I feel like the chick that did it, that worked at Tim Hortons, her name was Taylor. She worked on Tim Hortons at Alette. I feel like when she did that, it kind of felt like out of hatred. It didn't feel like something that she was paid to do. It felt like she wanted to do it based off she knew who I was and didn't like who I was. Because not even 20 minutes after drinking that coffee, I even said like, I shouldn't. My whole body even told me like, something happened to this drink. And yes, there was poison. It wasn't a whole lot. There was a little bit found in the drink, but it wasn't like a whole, like a bunch. But it was a decent amount. I was at the hospital for a couple hours and all that. They tested my blood. They want to test it again and all that, but I was out of there. Of course, they found marijuana in it. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, in Canada, we have this thing called assisted suicide. All right? This thing in Canada called MAID. MAID. And it's assisted suicide. All right? In America, that's illegal. I don't know why we have this in Canada. I really don't understand. I don't get what purpose it serves. It's fucked up, yes. Yeah, Canada has a lot of problems. This country's beautiful. All right? I'm not saying that it's necessarily Canada's fault why this is all going on. It's the government. Anybody that lives in Canada understands that. It's not the country, it's the government. The government fucking destroyed us. Canada's a very beautiful country. When it comes to the country area and like areas with like water and stuff, yeah, Canada deserves a round of applause. It's very nice. Compared to a lot of other countries in the world, not many have what we have. Yeah, we're known. A lot of people even say it too, but we're known as Junior America. That's how a lot of people look at Canada is like Junior America. And we always had that, thing with each other. You know what I mean? That's why we had that fireworks show every year. This month in June, we always have a fireworks show, Windsor and Detroit. And the reason why is because it's between Canada and America, the friendship. Well, Drew Dilkin should understand that. And the funniest thing is, when I'm elected mayor of Windsor, I'm going to invite Donald Trump here. Well, besides inviting Donald Trump here, I'm going to talk about a lot of the problems that we're facing in Canada. And I'm also going to show Trump a lot of the problems, too. And I'm going to tell him this is the reason why a lot of people in Canada want the 51st state. Is because people in Canada, we can't deal with what we're facing, all right? The government has strict rules on our citizens. When it comes to our gun rights and our rights to speak out against the government or any movement going on, they control us, all right? We don't have the freedom to do what we should be able to do. And that's one of the main reasons why I say we have to work with America. When it comes to speaking out, when it comes to protecting your life, no matter where you're at, your house or in public, when it comes to the dollar and being able to get ahead in life, have the opportunity to make money, being independent, just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the power of America. And that's why I say Canada and America have to share the same. Because when it comes to that, Canada could really grow a lot stronger with America and Canada joining forces. And eventually getting the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, the Welsh, you know what I mean? Yeah, even Mexico, yeah. Even Mexico, right? Yeah, and then Jamaica after. Right? That's one thing that has to happen, all right? England needs help. If you don't notice, United Kingdom, they're begging for it. And the funniest thing is, let's not forget, Canada and America are technically British, right? The people that began America were people that were from England, and they left England to make their own country. Same as with Canada, right? The people that began Canada, they're all from England. And then, Quebec is obviously, France and Louisiana, France, you know what I mean? But besides that, England began America and Canada. And the people that left England are going to go back there 250 years later to save the country and save their people. I mean, just think about that. It seems like the British that left England originally made a better country on their own with their own rules and their own way of life. And then the people 250 years later are like, yeah, we need the help for the people we came from. So, hey, you know what? Look at it like that, right? The people that left the original empire to make their own empire are going to help the people they left to save them again. What's that say? God bless the United Kingdom. God bless Canada. And most certainly, God bless America. Well, I mean, Tommy Robinson, he's fighting for England. I've got to give him a lot of credit because he's doing what he's doing. And you know what? It takes a real man. It takes real patriotism to stand up against what's going on. And I guess I'm not the only one in the world that's doing it. But the whole Nancy Graywall situation, I got 21,000 views on TikTok, 700 likes, 100 comments. You know why? Because I spoke out against it right when it happened, right? I spoke out, and I even said I'd honor her legacy, build her a statue in the Detroit River, 200-foot statue. It's going to cost $100 million. But you know what? I'm doing that to honor her legacy because she was murdered in cold blood. She spoke out against the Khalistani movement in Canada. She spoke the truth. And rest in peace to Nancy Graywall. But I will honor her legacy when I am mayor of Windsor. I will continue on for what she did. She was very intelligent, very incredibly smart, very beautiful, and she fought for the truth. And rest in peace to Nancy Graywall. But the matter of fact is, ladies and gentlemen, Drew Dilkins, the current mayor of Windsor, it's been over 3 months since she's been assassinated, and Mr. Dilkins has not said a single word. No condolences, nothing. In over 3 months. When you are a mayor, you are a leader of a state, which the governor, or you're leader of a province, the premier, you're the prime minister, you're the president, whatever you are of a country, you're the leader, you run an area, you run a city, You are supposed to give your condolences. You're supposed to say rest in peace. Sorry this happened, but nothing. And it was all over. All right, there's people that were protesting all over Windsor about Nancy Graywell, and this guy said absolutely nothing, which is absolutely sickening. She was killed from the Khalistani movement. They silenced her because she kept speaking out, and she was getting a lot of people to listen to her. And like I said, this situation is very tragic. But she was stabbed to death multiple times in her own driveway in the morning in Canada, just outside of Windsor. It's like right in like the suburb of Windsor. Look it up. It's absolutely sickening to see what happens to this beautiful lady. But this is what happens when you have a community that can't defend themselves with guns. This is what happens when you have a weak society, when criminals are allowed to get out and not be held accountable for their actions. This is what happens when you have weak leadership that don't know what they're doing in office and fail the residents of their cities and their communities. And this is why I say we need better leadership, no matter where it's at in the world. When there's weak leadership, there's a weak city, there's a weak community, there's a weak country. And when criminals walk all over citizens, that should never be happening. Criminals are the most evil people in the world. The reason why I say that is because they'll fuck with somebody else's life to get ahead. They won't try to do on their own and get ahead. No, they'll fuck with somebody else to get ahead. That's a criminal. And those are the type of people that are being let out on our streets repeatedly and causing more havoc and crime. And this is why I say people like this need to be locked up. And after they're locked up, send them away. Don't allow them back in the city. Make sure they are gone forever. And the reason why is because you don't want them back in the city, right? Do you want them to do the exact same crime that I did? No. Criminals need to be sent away. They want to do bad things, they can do bad things somewhere else in a third world country. They're not going to come back to the city and cause more problems and destroy our beautiful community. Rose City, Windsor, Ontario, has been destroyed from the inside because of weak leadership and Drew Dilkins failing for a mayor for 14. You know what? I don't understand how you keep lying and taking the money, putting it in your pockets, right? I mean, it's literally sickening to see how much this guy lies. Been in office for 12 years, and he's not done one single thing to improve Windsor. He built a Costco recently, costed $80 million, and he created 50 jobs with that. And the saddest thing is, do you know how long that is going to take to get that $80 million back? Between 25 and 30 years. Just think about that. The reason why is because grocery stores only bring in a certain amount of profit. And when I say this, it's because the deliveries, okay, the deliveries, the people that deliver the stuff, they take almost 50% of the profit that grocery stores make in each city. All right? That's who pays for a lot of the trucking. Now, when it comes to the grocery store overall, the companies that operate there, do you think they're going to pay the grocery store 100%? No. They're going to pay in between 10 and 20%, what's minimal. And the reason why is so the company that's selling their product there can save money. And they pass it on you as a consumer, so you pay more in inflation. And you know what that does to the rest of the people? It makes it harder to live. Now when you go to the grocery store, it's not like, oh, I got $100. Well, guess what? I'm going to get some of this, well, I'm going to get some of that, and I'm going to have some of that for dessert. Yeah, no, when you go to the grocery store now, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get slop, and more slop. All right? I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is, you know what I mean? And that's where society's at in today's world. I mean, back in the medieval times, people had it a lot better. I mean, a lot better. In today's world, society is collapsing in front of us. And people that use AI for exams, right? These people in school now, right? This new generation that's in school, they use AI for exams. Are you fucking serious? I was born 1999. So I'll be 27 December 17th. But the point I want to make is growing up in school, we didn't have a fucking AI to read an exam. Alright? We had to study that and learn it. And that's why I say when it comes to IQ, the reason why I say my IQ is so high at 120, the reason why is because I've studied a lot of the old world, like the old medieval stuff, and I've learned a lot about history And I've also learned a lot about technology and business. So those three main assets when it comes to history, technology, and business. I mean, those are some of the highest IQs you're going to learn in the world, right? It's like the same as being like a doctor or being like a scientist or something. When you have that level of knowledge of the world, the amount of things that you can do to produce is a lot better than just the average. You know what I mean? So you have to put it like that into perspective. Those are the three ways of learning the most, right? In life is business, technology, and history. Yeah, science is it's science when it comes to experiments to creation, there's two different things, right? I mean, when you're doing, I guess, experiment, yes, you are creating, but you're testing the creation as you're doing it, right? So when it comes to that, yeah, yeah, science is. I mean, it's similar to like technology, right? Yeah, the history aspect of the world matters the most because when you think about ancient times, the ancient civilizations. I mean, pyramids back then, right? Y'all know the pyramids. There used to be pyramids in every single district of the world, right? Every city had a pyramid, and all the people that live in those cities, they all connect off the energy. They didn't pay for no energy back then. No, it was really free from the pyramid. Same as it came to water and things like that. It was all free back then. You know, when you look at Tartaria and Antarctica, and there's a spot past called Ocean New. All right, if you ever look this up, look up Ocean NU, and it pops up past Antarctica, which is a little strange because when you're using the maps on no matter what it's on, right? They don't let you go past Antarctica, but the location beamer goes past where Antarctica's at, and it's called Ocean New NU if you look it up. This is what I mean when it comes to IQ, because when you learn history and look up old ancient world and look up things that are hidden about the truth of what's going on in the world, that takes a lot of knowledge to know about. When it comes to knowing what ancient civilizations did that were 1,000 times better than what our civilizations do, the reason why I say that is because we're slaves to the system in today's world. Back then, people had their own thought process, right? People had to do their own thing and live their life like that. In today's world, everybody follows the same thing. Everybody does the same thing. Everybody dresses the same. Everybody listens the same stuff. It's all the same. It's all generic and it's all plain. That's the problem with today's world. It's all the same blender. There's nothing that's unique anymore that stands out. There's not something that looks like, hey, look, there's a huge difference from that to that right there, right? No, you don't have that in today's world. In today's world, you have copy and paste, right? And no offense, but today's society is just a bunch of mindless zombies, a bunch of mindless sheep that walk around that have nothing to them. I mean, they can't even form a single sentence. That's the problem with today's society, right? Again, the generation I grew up in, I mean, we had computers in our schools, right? But the computers were those square computers, right? I mean, they weren't those modern ones with the flat screen like that. No, they were the square computers back then. And we used to have this thing called house leagues, right? Where you'd play sports. And we had this thing called the Jaguar Cup. And yeah, I won it 2 years in a row. All right. 2008, 2009, 2009, 2010. Yeah, if you ever look at it, you see the name T and then Morency after. And that's what that is, Team Morency. It was iconic. It was an iconic moment, yeah. But that was growing up, man. You know what I mean? That was at St. John's. And that was right at Grove Street, which, if y'all know Grove Street, I'm not even talking about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Alright? Y'all know iconic San Andreas. You know, the funniest thing about San Andreas, ladies and gentlemen, that is literally the highest selling game on PlayStation 2 history. Even though the PS3 released 2 years after San Andreas in 2006, right? San Andreas is the highest selling game in PS2 history. I mean, it was iconic. San Andreas was such an iconic game. Yeah, but I feel like wokeness destroyed a lot of society, right? I mean, when it comes to like movies, when it comes to TV shows, when it comes to like music and entertainment, and anything in between, all that kind of stuff, a lot of woke destroyed stuff like gaming, right? Gaming got absolutely wrecked from it. And wokeism is a mental illness, right? It destroys everything. Everything that's woke turns to shit. It destroys everything, right? When you have wokeness, then you have absolute slop that nobody wants to watch, nobody wants to listen to, nobody cares for, right? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, look what happened with The Walking Dead. All right, and I didn't want to put it like this, all right, because I watched The Walking Dead. At one point, I literally watched The Walking Dead, right? All right, I got to fucking season 7, and there's an episode where you didn't see it coming because it didn't show you what's gonna happen. All right, but about 23 minutes, 22 minutes into the episode, yeah, you got two guys that start doing some stuff. All right, and instantly, I didn't watch The Walking Dead after. Right, and which really sucks because I did enjoy The Walking Dead. It was a good show, but when they put that in there, I was disgusted. All right, and other people were like, "Oh, but Tristan, you like two lesbians?" Yeah, yeah, I'm a straight male, so of course I'm gonna like two women at once. Of course, right? But it's like, bruh, if y'all gonna put that in a show, why don't y'all put that in your own show then, right? Why don't y'all make your own show and just put that in there, right? You don't gotta ruin what other people want to watch. I mean, it's the same thing when it came to like Game of Thrones. All right, Game of Thrones was really good for the first like fucking like what, like 10 seasons, and then right after that it went to garbage, bro. And like Game of Thrones was iconic. I mean, that show was really good. If we're gonna be honest, bro, Game of Thrones, the Fallout show is good. I do enjoy the Fallout show. Don't get me wrong, but Game of Thrones was lit. All right, House of Dragons not even close to Game of Thrones. I definitely say Game of Thrones was one of the best shows ever. Like I would say it's in the top five. Game of Thrones was good. All right, it was good. I'm just gonna put it like that. All right, the after season 10, like I said, that stuff happened. But like besides that, it was a good show overall. It's just that ruined the perfectness of it. Yeah, that's what happens when wokeness. All right, that's what happens from wokeness. Wokeness destroys everything. It's a known fact. It's a known fact, literally. I mean, that's why nothing's good anymore, right? I mean, now you got to rely on certain movies from back then, right? Like the other day, I was talking about watching fucking Scarface, right? And you know why? Because Scarface mocks wokeness, and it's 1983, but it still mocks every aspect of what wokeness is, bro. And that's what made movies from the 80s and the 90s, even the 70s, iconic, man. Even the 2000s, bro. When it comes to this generation, everything's fucking trash, dog. Like there ain't nothing. You don't even want to invest your time watching nothing for movies, bro. Movies back then were good. I used to go to the movie theater a lot back then. Takes a little man. It's like, what the fuck's the point, bro? It's a bunch of fucking garbage. And that's the problem when it comes to woke ideology. Woke ideology destroys everything. Well, when you have a society collapse like this, you got one. Yeah, 100%. It's the liberals' fault, bro. That liberals are the weakest people. All right, we all know this. All right, liberals are weak, bro. And what they do is they will slander you. They'll call you every name in the fucking book. And if you call you, they'll call you the same shit that they think's fucking hateful, right? They'll be like, "Oh, you called me this, man. That's fucking hateful. You're fucking racist. You're fucking homophobic. You're fucking xenophobic. You're fucking, you're fucking." They'll call you every name in the fucking book. But if you call them the same thing, then they'll start slandering you and saying, "Oh, well, you're this. Oh, well, you're that. You don't like this. Motherfucker, you say the same thing, and that's the problem with these type of people, bro. They're just stupid. There's no way to put it. Liberals are like the most like idiotic people in the world, bro. Them and Democrats are just stupid. I don't want to, you're trying to divide people. No, I am not. I'm making an honest fucking point. All right. There's literally good versus evil. You can't look at it anymore and be like, oh, they're just trying to play both sides, bro. You can't. When you look at it, bro, this is literally just good versus evil at this point. Well, Make America Great Again is standing up against all this rainbow stuff. So all that stuff that you see go on, especially in our malls. I mean, it's all over Windsor malls, and that's why I said when I'm mayor of Windsor, we ain't gonna add on this rainbow stuff in Windsor. No, we're gonna have stuff that honors the soldiers and honors patriotism. We ain't having on this rainbow stuff in this city. That stuff's gonna go somewhere else, and they can enjoy it over there. Because we don't need that kind of stuff in our city. We don't need to celebrate mental illness in a city. It's mental illness. That's literally what that is. Yeah. Again, like I said earlier, yeah, because when you talk about well, you really like lesbians, not if they're ugly. I mean, they got to be hot, right? They got to be hot. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the problem with society, right? People lost humor. People lost a sense of what. Oh, I could say this. Oh, I could say. No, people are weak now. People are weak-minded, woke sheep that literally get offended from everything. And that's the problem with today's society. That's the reason why you look at what's going on with Canada. We're failing, right? I mean, you can't even criticize it. In England, a professor got arrested because he made a joke, right? Right? He mocked somebody in the classroom. He made a joke, right? So he got arrested for it. Yeah. England. America, that would not happen because freedom of speech, right? But this is the problem when it comes to weak people in a weak society, all right? And this is why I say liberals and Democrats are the most evil people ever. Yes, they're racist. I mean, let's not forget the Democrats started the KKK. Let's not forget that. That was the left that created that. So when they want to say, "Oh, well, the right's white supremacy and the right's white supremacy," motherfucker, y'all the ones who created that. The Democratic Party created the Ku Klux Klan. Look it up. The KKK was created from the Democratic Party, and Malcolm X was a Republican conservative who warned us about the white liberals. Said they're the most racist people ever, and you can see how they do it, bro. Malcolm X warned people, and that's why he was assassinated. Because he spoke the truth, he woke people up, and he knew it was going to happen. If Malcolm X was alive today, he'd be a Make America Great Again. Y'all want to bet? Malcolm X was conservative Republican. He'd 100%. The most famous quote of all time. The white liberal will be the death to anything, right? And that's what it is. The white liberals destroy everything, right? Because they're all about, oh, we gotta have diversity, inclusion, and represent everybody. And then what happens? Then we see racism at the highest numbers. Then we see a bunch of cultures going at it at once that can't get along. All right? When you have just one culture, say it's your own country's culture, guess what? Everybody represents it. Everybody gets along. There's not, oh, fuck you, I believe in this. Oh, fuck you, I believe in that. And then everybody's going to get it on after. Hey, that's the difference. Disagreements usually happen because, like, sports and, mainly it's sports. Sometimes politics, yes, but mainly sports. 100%. I appreciate it. I love caring support. Y'all been showing me. Yeah, like I said, I'm not worried about Lexi, bro. I've dissed her a million times. It's like Donald Trump versus Rosie O'Donnell. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Hey, when it comes to me and Lexi, it's Trump versus O'Donnell, man. As Trump has roasted plenty of times. Yes, Trump has roasted Rosie O'Donnell a lot. And the reason why is because she tried to do it first, right? And he counteracted her and roasted her so bad that she can't even take it anymore. She's going to full on dyke lesbian. All right. Oh, it's so hilarious. Trump's the man. I mean, Trump is the realest leader ever. And, I'll even put it like that. Malcolm X was the first one who got me into politics, right? Donald Trump is who inspired me to run for mayor. Yeah, I originally got into Donald Trump when I was in high school. I got his first presidency term. Now, he showed me that God exists. I mean, that's the reason why Make Windsor Great Again has 2,000 views on YouTube. Right? Look it up. On my playlist on YouTube, 2,000 views. Make Windsor Great Again. I mean, go look up Drew Dilkin's playlist, The Mayor's Mic. He has 53 views. And I got 2,000. And mine has less time on it, right? I mean, mine's been going for almost a year. Dilkin's been going for almost 2 years. And yet my numbers are a lot higher. Do you know why? Because a lot of people in Windsor want Windsor to be great again. That's why. Same as when it comes to Canada. I mean, the problems that Canada are facing, especially with the dollar. Especially with the dollar, though, man. Because when it comes to jobs and, using the resource to make more money and safety for the communities and cities and all those kind of things, and you need stronger leadership. When it comes to free speech to call out anybody or anything going on, yeah, you need that. Freedom and liberty is much better than socialism and communism. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, the support I've been getting on TikTok. I mean, it's insane, right? And Instagram, all right, Instagram and recently ended up banning me. I think it was Mark Carney, or at least something to do with something because I posted something about Henry Novak, right? What happened over in England, and it was the whole thing with White Lives Matter, right? White Lives Matter, and apparently it had about 300 views, 300 likes, well, 3,300 views in 30 minutes, right? 3,300 views in 30 minutes, 300 likes, and about like 3-4 hours later, all of a sudden I can't log into my account. And ever since that, it's been like about maybe like a week now. I don't get why they suspended my account. But I think it had either something to do with the United Kingdom government. It blew up though. You know what I mean? Like it got tracks. It's not like it had like a decent number. I mean, when you're having 3,300 views in 30 minutes, there's a lot of people that already heard that message. What you're saying, all right? Well, the reason why I say also with if America works with Canada to make Canada better, the reason why I say also the United Kingdom is because that's where Canada and America originally came from, is the United Kingdom. So if we could all just work together and solve the problems like this, and we could all share the same resources and ideas, guess what? Canada, America, and the entire United Kingdom would be a lot better. United Kingdom is very beautiful. Very beautiful. Unite the kingdom. Unite the kingdom. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you. Yes, the amount of support I've been getting to become mayor of our city has been absolutely astounding. The amount of people that are showing me love. I mean, I've had over 100 people DM me on TikTok about what they want if I'm mayor of Windsor, right? Oh, well, I want some of this. Oh, well, can you do some of that? Oh, well, can I wanted some of this and I didn't get it. I've been waiting for. I've had so many people writing me messages saying that Drew Dilkins hasn't done nothing to help them, and they need my help to solve problems they're dealing with. What does that say, ladies and gentlemen, about the current mayor of this city? It means he doesn't know what he's doing. It means he's failed miserably. It means his time is coming. It means 12 years in office was a waste of time, and this guy making $200,000 to $300,000 a year for 12 years. I mean, now he's a millionaire from doing nothing, accomplishing nothing for our city, but allowing more drug addicts to come here, driving up on the sidewalk, not saying nothing about Nancy Graywall. That's a mayor. That's a failure. That's a liar. That's someone who uses propaganda to control people. And that's exactly what he does when he says, oh, well, the Gordie Howe Bridge. I don't want to put it like this when we get in this topic, but when you look at the Ambassador Bridge, all right, it's a million times better looking. The Gordie Howe Bridge, I love the name of it. All right, I'll give the name credit, but the bridge does not look good at all. All right, I'm not a fan of that bridge. When you look at the Golden Gate Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, all right, you see a difference to it, okay? When you look at this Gordie Howe Bridge, all right, Boston has a similar one. Portland, Oregon has a similar one. I mean, even China, right? I'm pretty sure there's other cities that also have similar, all right? The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is there's no uniqueness to this bridge. There's nothing that stands out saying, oh, this bridge looks different than the rest in the world. Look, it has this, that, and that on it. Or the paint job is this with this. There is nothing that stands out on that bridge. It's lame. And besides that, it's a suspense bridge, right? Suspension. That's not good. Do you know why it's not good? Because it just holds in gravity. There's nothing holding it under, right? When you look at the Gordie Howe Bridge, it just holds up like this, right? Like it goes here and it holds up. There's nothing under to hold it up, bro. I mean, that's not safe at all. I mean, you could be walking on that halfway and all of a sudden, oh, look, the bridge is going up. Oh, God. I don't trust the bridge. No, what I'm going to do when I'm mayor of Windsor, all right, is a lot of the county area wants to work with the city, all right? The county area wants to have more to it. And I am going to put the county with the city. And what I mean with this is all the county area that wants to work with Windsor, they're going to become part of the city, and they'll be known as more of the upstate in Windsor. All right, I'll let is going to get revented within 6 to 8 months. And yes, I'm going to use robots to do this. I'm going to renovate 80% of Olette. And what I mean with this is a lot of buildings that are sitting there not being used anymore, they're going to be demolished. And those roads are going to be moved, right? They're going to go like this, make more area. And we're going to rebuild Olette. And we're going to rebuild this entire city. Now, with the amount of area that Windsor has, even including the county area, this is why I say, when I say next New York, it'll be like a mini New York, right? When I say next New York, it'll be something similar like a mini New York. And Toronto, they got their own Times Square in their district area, right? Their main district center spot. They got their own Times Square there. And it looks nowhere near as good as the real Times Square. Now, when it comes to Windsor, Ontario, this Times Square that we're going to have at Windsor is going to be similar to the one in New York, but it's going to have a futuristic splash to it. So expect something that you've never seen before. I said it before and I'll say it again. My vision is to make this city different than what it is. And when you build skyscrapers with $870 million that the city has in the vault, these skyscrapers will have thousands upon thousands of jobs each. Office jobs. The amount of money that's going to accumulate in the economy from these people working, all those taxpayer dollars, are all going to go into the city's economy, and then that will help grow this city. That'll help build new things here. Better infrastructure. More job centers. More hospitals. Maybe better things in the hospitals. Who knows? Maybe better beds. Better equipment. Right? More updated stuff. With that kind of money, we could do a lot of things that make Windsor better. And better yet, when it comes to the buses and things like that, if the bus company keeps doing what they're doing, we're raising the bus fare, all right, because it's almost $4 at this point. It's $3.95. Windsor is going to have something that's going to stand out compared to the rest of this country. And when I say that, it's because Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary, I think they're the only cities in Canada that have a subway system, right? Not 100% sure, but I think about 90% sure there. America, I could go on and on about how many cities have that, right? How many states have it. Canada does not have that because we don't have technology like that, right? We don't have infrastructure like that. Like when you look at something like Times Square, and you look at how in Detroit their bus shelters have digital advertising, we don't have none of that in Toronto. We don't have none in Windsor. The reason why is because we're so advanced, right? I don't get why we don't get better, right? Like, look at Japan. Look at China. Two of the most advanced countries in the world. Why are we not advancing when they're advanced, right? And I mean, China and Japan, they don't have this, oh, well, we can't build because there's this pollution thing, or there's this green thing where we care about the environment. Really. It's the same thing when we talk about border laws, right? And they're like, oh, well, you can't get rid of people that are illegal here and that are frauding or doing crime. Blah, blah, blah. What does every other country have in the world? Border, like, every country has border laws, all right? No matter if you're a criminal, no matter if you're an illegal and you're a criminal, if you're doing something bad in the community, you got to be detained, right? That's how it is. And when you have people here that are literally MS-13 gang members, are associated with any cartel out there in Latin America, South America, wherever, you have to arrest these people. Because if you don't, they're going to cause a lot of havoc in the communities. And these people are very dangerous and very evil. And some of the stuff they will do is sickening, right? But then again, ladies and gentlemen, the only way things are going to get better is with stronger leadership. And when I say that, I mean, no matter if it's the mayor, no matter if it's the governor or the premier, no matter if it's the prime minister, no matter if it's the president, all right? No matter what country it's in. Stronger leadership makes a stronger country, makes a stronger community, a stronger city, regardless where it's at. You have to have better. If you don't have better, then you're going to see problems get worse and worse and worse. And we need stronger leadership. Windsor will become great again. And when I say Windsor will become great again, I mean this city will have jobs at record numbers with the auto industry. Because I'm already talking with some people, including somebody that's really close to me, about bringing car companies back to Windsor. And a certain car company that we're going to have in Windsor is going to be a new one that's based here. And it's going to be retro cars, right? The older design of cars. And they're going to have futuristic resemblance on them, which is going to look very unique to every other vehicle on the road. And a lot of people are going to drive that for that reason, right? They want something that looks different. They don't want something that looks generic. So when you see something like that, you're like, wow, this looks like it's from the future. This doesn't look like it's right now in the present. And guess what? Everybody buys that. The same thing with a retro car compared to one that's modern. The reason why people like that is because retro or futuristic look better than modern, right? Like I said before, how modern's all plain and there's nothing unique anymore. That's exactly what I mean when I say that. And that's the problem with today's world. So when I say I'll make Windsor great again, when Windsor will become great again, the crime will be gone. 80-90% of it will be cleaned up instantly within the first 12 months. This city will have thousands upon thousands of new jobs. A lot more families will be here. A lot more people owning houses will be here. A lot more people working will be here. A lot more money will be being made in Windsor. A lot more growth in the economy. A lot more resources being used for trade deals. A lot more tourism coming here. This city is going to be seeing record numbers like nobody's seen before. And the rest of Canada will not be able to compete with their cities, right? Especially when it comes to places like Toronto. Windsor will be much better off. And we have this kind of money pouring in with the more adaptation of the county areas and the money that we'll be having from all the jobs, all the resources, all the tourism, the trade deals, and using our resources. This city will have sports teams. And what I mean is when you put up $1.5 billion, $2.5 billion, guess what? Your city can have a sports team. And Windsor, when we compete with Detroit, no matter what sport it's in, I would love to see Windsor win a championship. And guess what? I'll be the mayor that brings the sports team here. I promise everybody, I'll bring a sports team. I'll get that sports team. We've always wanted one in Windsor, and we'll get one. Now, obviously, the WFCU Center wouldn't be the spot where the sports team would perform at, especially if it's hockey, because that's not a spot that's going to hold, I'd say, at least 18 to 22,000 people. So Windsor is going to be a massive city. And when I'm talking about growth, that's exactly what I mean. This city is going to grow economically, and it's going to be a lot safer for families, and the people will have something to look up to, right? And what I mean with that is they'll have an opportunity to go out there and be who they are and not worry about getting robbed, getting shot, getting stabbed, getting jumped. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see what's going on with society and how people are being treated out here, it's absolutely sickening. And that's why I always say stronger leadership brings better. And that's why I say when I make Windsor great again, that's exactly what I'll do. Like I said before, I'm going to say it again. You want to make the difference, you got to be the difference. And just remember one last thing, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tristan Tamarensi, and I'm going to make Windsor great again. October 26th, Windsor will become the next New York City. The Rose City will be great again. Let me say it one more time. The Rose City will be great again. And Drew Dawkins, when you realize how bad you feel as a mayor, you will realize I will do more in 12 months than you did in 12 years.